Very good evening, friends. This side Rahul Mogan here as a Group Chief Executive Officer, Treasury Consulting, and also a venture capitalist. As we speak, Treasury Consulting is a multinational headquartered group based in India, Singapore, and Hong Kong. Most importantly, we are serving clients across the globe and we have lots of products to offer. We hold our own prop hedge fund, which means that no outsider can enter. More importantly, we have our learning academies in crypto, we have a learning academy known as Sheetal Academy, and there are many more products. If you wish to have more information, you can definitely WhatsApp on my personal number, which is +91 9899242978, or alternatively, you can WhatsApp on our back office, which is +91 9818485155. You know that I worked as a corporate treasurer for 10 years and I spent most of my time in doing research in financial markets and looking at Reuters, Bloomberg, almost everything. On the one side, the world is facing coronavirus, and this coronavirus is really growing or spreading, to be precise. Like, I got the data from Bloomberg today, and the data does suggest that around 88% of the cases sequenced are Delta variant in UK. In India, it is around 84%. Japan is around 32%. US is around 17%, while Germany is around 6%. This is the data which is provided by Bloomberg. And I'm sure that this is latest data. Maybe eventually, as the time would pass, we have more data, and unfortunately, when you open Google, a lot of negative news are coming. In fact, when I was doing my research on Google, I got to know there is a variant called Gamma and Lambda. Gamma is spreading very fast in Brazil, especially the site we have in near Amazon, and around 100,000 cases being reported in Brazil on a daily basis. So things are really tight as far as the coronavirus is concerned. Between today, Federal Reserve Chair Mr. Biden and Treasury Secretary Yellen, I doubt how come she turned out to be Treasury Secretary, but Treasury Secretary Yellen would be meeting President Biden, and it's a first meeting after Mr. Biden turned out to be a president of the United States. Let's see what would happen, but I don't think that Mr. Powell would be, I would say, changing his tone, to be honest. In between, the world is facing a very big change. And that change is known as LIBOR transition. Now, what is LIBOR transition? Now, LIBOR transition is a very big transition, guys, by the way. Let it be honest. LIBOR transition is not an easy transition. There was a time when LIBOR used to quote across the globe, be it any product, and LIBOR used to quote. And now the reality is that LIBOR is moving towards transition because of the great scandal which had happened somewhere in 2008. As usual, nothing happened. This is the first pair which we are shooting as far as the LIBOR transition is concerned, and of course, as the time passes, we would be shooting more videos on LIBOR transition. Before I start, there are around 194 countries we have in the globe, and as we speak, as of 2020, in nominal terms, the world GDP is around 93.86 trillion. I repeat, we are having 194 countries in the globe, and as we speak, 2020 data, the nominal GDP is around 93.86 trillion. There is a paper which is there in the public domain. If you want, I can give you the paper. You just WhatsApp me and I'll give you the link. This paper clearly reflecting that the transition plan of LIBOR or LIBOR transition plan is around $400 trillion. You know, guys, as we speak, I fail to understand that we don't have a correct figure as far as the LIBOR or LIBOR relative derivative securities are concerned. Even the best bank like Goldman, JP, Citi, Standard Chartered, they not yet reflected the right figure. That's a highly unfortunate fact. Like this paper is saying it's about 400 trillion. The world GDP is around 93 trillion. It means the LIBOR transition is around 4 times of world GDP. In fact, a little bit more than that, mathematically speaking. But we are taking this lightly, as usual, and we know that what would be the consequences of the same. Anyways, according to the ARRC, Alternative Risk Reference Rate Committee. Now, what the hell is ARR? Forget the C. The world was focusing on many interbank rates. London Interbank Offer Rate, JIBOR Interbank Offer Rate, MIBOR, Mumbai Interbank Offer Rate, MIFOR, Mumbai Interbank Forward Offer Rate, HIBOR, Hong Kong Interbank Offer Rate, and many. Let it be honest. But the question is that these rates which are being quoted, give me 1 minute, there is a good chart. Let me save this chart and let me paste here and then I let you know. Yes. Now these, rates are moving towards the ARR, which is alternative risk reference rate. And guys, by the way, alternative risk reference rates are many. As we speak, there are 9 risk alternative reference rate. And the leading of them is SOFR, which is secured overnight financing rate. We have TORA, we have ESTR, we have Caron, we have multiple. But the leading of them is definitely the SOFR, which is secured overnight financing rate. Now the question is that there is a committee who works for that, and that committee is known as ARRC, Alternate Reference Rates Committee. I've been through many documentation of ARRC, and unfortunately I not been able to relate any of the documentation, because when I look at Reuters and Bloomberg and when I look at the definition, then I look at the documents, and unfortunately both are not telling. And the world is run on Reuters and Bloomberg rather than on any documented process. That's also a fact. Now there are multiple questions which we need to answer as far as the LIBOR transition is concerned, and this is the first set of videos which we are shooting. Number one is that we need to identify the total types of LIBOR contracts. Guys, we don't have an exact figure of that. There are a hell lot of LIBOR contracts which we have. Example, IRS, interest rate swaps, TRS, total rate swaps, basis swaps, quanto swaps, reverse quanto swaps, rollover swaps, net position rollover swap, and the list is pretty long. To be honest, list is pretty long. Now guys, the question here is, do we have some documentation? In none of the ARRC paper I got to know the complete list of LIBOR denominated derivative contracts. Not a single paper told me this, and the bloody hell point is that, see, in the absence of now example, if you need to do something, the first thing which you need to do is you need to construct the derivative contracts which are going to be amended because of this new regulation. We do not have the list pertaining to that. Until and otherwise we have a list pertaining to that, the mess would continue. And even if we're going to be transit from so-called LIBOR to SOFR or CORA or ESTR or ARON, nothing great result would get happen. Now the second important question is that trigger points. Now, example, let me give you a simplest example. It's just an example. ExxonMobil, the largest petrochemical company of the globe, is having a deal with Goldman Sachs. LIBOR is quoted in 6 months, but you can take in 3 months, 1 month, 1 week, or you can even do on a daily basis. I can't explain this. Don't expect to explain this. This is highly technical. ExxonMobil is having a deal with the Goldman on 6 month basis, while their peer Saudi Aramco is having a deal with the Goldman. It's just a hypothetical example, on a 3 month basis. Now, what would be the trigger points? If both Exxon and Aramco will move from LIBOR to SOFR, what would be the trigger points? Sorry, this is again ambiguous. Third is the fallback language. That's more important now, guys. What is fallback language? When you use any index, it is not LIBOR, any index of the world. That index is documented in nature, and there are hell lot of articles we have about that index on the Google. That's a separate thing, that these articles are rightly formed, rightly formulated or not formulated. That's a complete, it's a separate process. But the question here is that, and that's a very, very important question, which is, and that's very important, when we phase out this index, we need to give in writing. We need to give in writing that we are phasing this index because of this purpose, and the reverse methodology would accordingly this. And then of course, all parties need to agree with this. This is the layman definition of a fallback language. The fallback language, now try and understand. Fall back, which means that an index which you are using now, it's going to be falling back, which precisely means that there is a fallback language. As we speak, ISTA is working on a fallback language. There are many bodies who are working on the fallback language, but there is no unique consensus on the fallback language. And that unique consensus is because there is a term called legal interpretation issues. Legal interpretation issues. There is another thing which is very important. This is last which we are covering this time, which is interbank coverage. Now let's take an example of ExxonMobil, which we took earlier. ExxonMobil is having 1 billion deal with the Goldman, in which they are taking the 6 months LIBOR. LIBOR is quoted in 6 months. And Goldman has this with HSBC. HSBC has this with UBS with Barclays with Citi with Standard Chartered, and you just continue. If Goldman agree to change LIBOR to SOFR, would the first peer, now this is called first peer, the first peer of Goldman is HSBC. Would HSBC end up agree with this? HSBC has this with Deutsche agree, Deutsche with Standard Chartered, and there's a hell lot of sequencing. To conclude the first part, there are many issues which we have in LIBOR transition. Number one is the valuation. Now the paper is saying 400 trillion. I doubt, because my knowledge is LIBOR transition, LIBOR is more than 1000 trillion. In our parlance, we call this as trillion. It's more than trillion. And expecting this to be only 400 trillion, I think it's really undeserving, to be honest. Alternate reference rates, total 9. Out of 9, the leading is SOFR. All 9 needs to backfire. All 9 needs to fire, but unfortunately that is not the scene right now. We have one more chart. Give me just 1 more minute, guys. Then we have type of LIBOR contracts. We need to give in writing that what are the different LIBOR contracts we are having, and when we have different LIBOR contracts, then these LIBOR contracts needs to be well documented. Question is the trigger points, question is the fallback language, and more importantly, the question is the legal interpretations and the interbank contracts. Unfortunately, officially speaking, the deadline is 31st December 2021, but I really doubt whether we would be able to make this happen. I would like to read a survey for you. According to a recent survey, who conducted this survey? We'll let you know. According to a recent survey, only 20% of the organization report they are functionally prepared to move away from LIBOR, while 40% point to a regulatory ambiguity on reference rates as a reason for inaction. Transiting from LIBOR is critical, complex challenge for bank, capital markets, corporate insurance firm, but the general lack of preparation amongst these group. 20% said they are ready, 40% said they are facing regulatory ambiguity, 20 plus 40, 60, where the hell the rest 40? This is our first part on LIBOR transition. This is Rahul from Treasury Consulting Group. You know our WhatsApp, which is +91 9899 242 978. Have a great time ahead. Thank you.